Assault gear just to listen to this show. Clean up in aisle 5.
What kind of talk is that? We all talk that kind of English where you come from? What? Hey, what's that?
Whoa. There isn't a switch that we can turn it on or off. That's it. This is just too weird.
There can be only one.
Dude, this is freaking weird.
Cool party.
The first rule of
The Entertainment Roundtable.
is you do not talk about
The Entertainment Roundtable.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
And I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
Let's assume for a moment that you are a dishonest man.
Assume away.
Wonder Twin powers activate! Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition!
We've been on a lot of adventures together, but it seems like you haven't learned anything.
That's the fact! Yeah!
Now, shall we begin?
It's time!
Rolling into a Friday evening, and welcome in to the Entertainment Roundtable. Dustin,
Yes, sir.
before the end of the night, you're going to get it right.
Yes, I know.
You started.
I was doing so good.
Started off the show wrong, man.
One button.
Good grief, Jeff. Welcome back.
Hey, Steve. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
What's happening?
Oh, just want to talk some movies, entertainment stuff.
Another beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It is. It is.
Josh, hey.
I'm back
Still
again.
got that ugly hat on.
Consistency. I'm back again.
Still
That's 2
got that
weeks in
ugly
a
hat
row.
on, though.
This is impressive.
I know.
I am wearing a Yankees hat, and
Still got that ugly hat on.
Steve is wearing a Boston Red Sox shirt.
Well, you gotta balance out the evil with the good.
You know, I was going to say, like, we were crossing party lines and having some real...
Sorry, I'm never going to like
real
the Yankees.
progress
It's
here,
not
but-
going to happen. That said, welcome in, David. What's up?
Nothing much. I'm excited to be here.
Sporting old school Batman on the chest there.
Oh, yeah.
He has
I
an
like
endless collection of nerdy T-shirts.
Doesn't he?
I really do.
Hey, not a bad thing. Building up his collection of nerdy T-shirts is the guy who suffered a fire a few weeks ago. Hey, Jacob.
How's it going?
It's good.
It's going good for me, too.
Had an interesting afternoon.
Yes, we did.
I'm going to leave it at interesting.
Yeah.
We'll say it right there.
Yep.
We went and checked out the Wolverine. Interesting.
Interesting's never good.
Like, interesting
it is.
can be
Have you ever
good.
been on a date with someone and someone asked you
And they
how was
went-
the date and you said it was interesting?
It was interesting.
And they're like,
Yeah.
interesting good or interesting bad?
Interesting.
The facial expression just said it all on this side of the class.
It's
Ryan, how are you, my man?
I am doing super bat-tastic, Steve. I have never been this excited in my life. I'm electrified. Let's get this thing rolling.
Wow. What's got you all hopped up?
Something that involves a man of steel and another legendary hero known as the Bat.
Oh, okay. That's foreshadowing. We'll get to that in a minute. All right, let's see here.
not really
As mentioned,
foreshadowing.
Jacob and I,
It's pretty
yeah, really. Jacob and I have checked out the Wolverine. Let's see. Who all
up
is
saying
talking
it.
about what? You, Jeff, have seen.
I saw Only God Forgives last weekend.
We will be talking about that in a moment. What have you seen? Anything?
I have not
You've
seen
been so busy
anything.
doing other stuff. I will admit to this.
Being an
movies.
adult.
Well, you did go to a movie last night.
I did. I went to a pre-showing for people that worked on the film of a movie called Grace Unplugged that was shot around here.
Well, we'll talk about Grace
was an
Unplugged
extra in that.
because
You were an extra in that?
Yeah.
Very good.
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about when it comes out. We'll get your kind of preliminary thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Anything?
I saw the Wolverine.
Saw the Wolverine, so that's 3 reviews. Ryan, other than ready to talk about a potential movie coming up, anything?
I'm going to see the Wolverine on Sunday, but I did see a movie called Sharknado, though.
I tried. I couldn't make it through it.
Oh, we have news. We have news. All right. If you want to chime in, you certainly can. We are on Facebook, of course, Facebook page for the show, Whatever with Steve West. Jacob, we're in the world of Twitter. What can they do to get in hold of us there?
We are at 101 Roundtable. At 101 Roundtable. We would have been the Entertainment Roundtable, but that's too long. So
Twitter has this thing about limiting characters. Apparently. You can only do posts in 140 characters, and apparently you're limited to like 10 for your title.
Well, it's rare that you go on Twitter and find someone with character. So that
Ooh,
makes
nice.
sense.
Good point.
I'm just
Good
impressed
point.
that you guys
We're
are...
trying to upgrade. Well, he's
trying
I'm just impressed
That's
you
all
guys
him.
are on Twitter. Or you
Tons
know
of
what
That's
it
all
is.
him. Ain't me, man.
Tons of news, tons of and all kinds of reviews. We're putting everything up there.
We're on the tweeter.
On the
Yes. Jacob's tweeting. So anything that you read, it's all Jacob. Just saying. And also you can call.
And he's under the bus now.
Yeah, really. 941-1011, toll free 866-551-9933. Feel free to call in. All right, let's talk about it. Top 10 movies of the week. Everything in the top 10 made at least $5 million, $5.1 million each for Monsters University and World War Z at 10 and 9. Then you had The Heat in at number 8, just missed making another $10 million, $9.3 million for that. So Monsters U, it's going to go over. It's already over 250 mil because it was 249.1 as of then. World War Z looks like it's going to slide over 200 million. 186.9 right now and 5 million last weekend. It'll probably drop out of the top 10, but by the time all is said and done and it's out of movie theaters, I'm pretty certain it's going to be just slightly over 200 million.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Then you get The Heat. The Heat looks like it's got momentum. We'll have to see whether it's going to have enough momentum to gain there.
Doubt it.
A movie that probably will not make $12 million or $200 million.
Just guessing.
Debuting at number 7, $12.6 million. R.I.P.D.
Well, they only spent $130 million.
Yeah, that's the latest in the series of flops that everyone's been talking about.
This
here
is colossal, though. $12 million.
Is this worse than what was the
Lone Ranger?
Yeah, is this worse than? I mean, Lone Ranger's already out of the.
Lone Ranger was $250 million they spent on it.
Yeah,
but I mean, it did do like what, $20 million in its opening weekend.
I think so.
I think it was just on Jerry Bruckheimer's name alone. But
yeah.
I mean,
I will say this:
this is embarrassing.
Yeah, I will say this: I was pleasantly surprised. I don't think this was a great film by any stretch of the imagination, but I walked into the film expecting to give it a 3. So I was pleasantly surprised and actually gave it what did I give it, a 6.5?
Something like that.
Something like that.
I think I gave it a 7. It wasn't awful.
6.5, 7.
I just think the audience has seen this a million times and they were just kind of sick of
Yeah,
it.
here's the problem. It's Men in Black for the afterlife.
Yeah, really.
That's what it is. Then we move on to Pacific Rim in at number 6, and I'm impressed. Our boss, our suit, Leland Whaley, is actually going to check out Pacific Rim. He's being dragged to go check it out tonight.
He'll love it.
Whatever.
$68.3 million, $16 million in another weekend, and you know, in at number 6. This is a film that we've talked about. All of us here really liked. I was the roughest of all of us sitting at this table on reviewing this film, and I gave it an 8.
I haven't met a person who's not liked this film. I think it's one of the box office tragedies of this movie season.
The sad thing is this looks like, all things considered, it might be you might be able to throw it into maybe kind of a flop category. But I'm sorry, it doesn't do this film justice.
No, it's going to be one of those great like indie kind of
it'll be
films
a
that
cult
all the
film.
indie guys love. $190 million spend for a $68 million on its second week. It might break even on DVD, but it's not. It's definitely a flop.
I can picture this thing becoming a cult classic.
It still hasn't opened in Asia yet, right? So that's good. I think it's going to make some big money in Japan and China. Come on,
it's not opened overseas yet.
Really, it's open in some markets, but not. I don't think in Asia.
Maybe. You know, I imagine by the time it hits DVD and DVD goes over, they'll break even. But it's nothing to write home about. I mean, it's not as bad as $12 million.
I'll tell you what. When I initially heard about this, I was kind of a little dubious. This is a film that I actually want to own when it comes out on Blu-ray.
I might want to apologize to Jeff here because, I mean, if you play back the recording from the first time we talked about this movie, I literally trashed it. I think I called it. I said it was like a battleship.
The first time we talked about it, the second time we talked about
pretty
it.
Much, I bashed it.
Every time you talked about it. Pretty much every time until you went to go see it.
You know, I remember that, and I actually tuned out on Pacific Rim for a long time just because of
what I said. I feel bad. People actually listen to what I say. I need to be careful.
Like, oh, Josh is slamming it. I can't watch this.
Should never
trust
what
Ryan,
Josh said.
Did Ryan just say wrong that people listen to what I say? Whatever.
You are the one with the Yankees hat.
Yeah,
well, that's your fault, Ryan.
No, that's your fault, buddy.
No, that's your fault. I'm blaming you.
Who says some films are just
hey, this
awesome.
And I will admit, I was wrong on this one. But I grew into it. I mean, as I started to really watch the previews of it, I said, you know what? This looks like it's going to be a fun ride.
Second time I've been surprised. The first time with a movie that I really just thought, this is going to be stupid, was Silver Linings Playbook. I thought that...
it's such a good movie.
It is. It's a great film. Right. Am I getting hate here because it's kind of effeminate?
It's not as bad as you having gone to watch the Katy Perry film.
Okay. Yeah.
That is really bad.
Why do we got to keep bringing that up?
Because
you
it happened.
Never live that down.
Oh,
see, that's what I'm talking about.
Happened.
Ryan made Josh the underdog, so I just wanted to root for him and just agree with him.
He went and saw the Katy Perry movie because of me.
I didn't see it. But still.
I was about to say, did you? Because at that point in time, dude, you're like on the rocks.
Even if you did, don't admit it. I've learned from my mistakes.
Hey, I've been waiting for my girl name.
There you go.
At least I'm not the one who saw all the Twilight movies there, Bella.
I saw it with a girl, Ryan. It's a little bit more
And
justifiable.
that is a fair argument,
Yeah,
sir.
I mean, if you went to see it on a date, I can let it
It
slide.
was a date.
I mean, let's face it, this guy sitting across from me, Jeff, saw Titanic in the movie theater 3 times.
I did.
You know, I actually am okay with that. I like that movie.
It was
It's
3
James
different girls.
Cameron.
It was, it was in the
It was
theater for
3
like a
different
year.
girls.
It better have been. Because if you went to see Titanic with the same girl 3 times, dude, I'm sorry. At some point in time after the first one, you're like, sorry, honey, can't do it again.
Jack.
Out of here. Ooh, hello. All right. For all of us who really enjoyed Pacific Rim, then there's Glenn and Hoover. Hi, Glenn. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are y'all tonight?
We're doing well. All right. You're not a fan. Why?
No, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. With about, I'd say, 20 minutes left in the movie, I thought, let's wrap this up. Let's go ahead and end it. It just seemed to drag a little bit, and I looked for a little bit of distraction for a minute or two to keep from getting to walk out.
So you felt like it went a little too long?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting thinking.
I thought Ron Perlman brought a little lightheartedness to the movie. I enjoyed his character until he got swallowed up. But
Did you stick around through the credits?
no, I did not.
See, you missed.
Yeah.
You missed.
We've learned from the Marvel movies. Don't walk out of the
Don't
movie
walk
after
out of the
credits.
credits.
Never walk
Absolutely.
Tons of
Never
people
walk out of the
walk
credits.
every time I go to the movies.
Yeah, never walk out on the credits, man, because I'm telling you, you missed on a scene, Glenn.
They seem to do it more and more, and I guess I should have known better.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, Glenn. We appreciate the call. Yeah, by the way, that holds true for the Wolverine.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's they've
Here to tell you. That holds
they
true.
figured
for the
out how
Wolverine.
to force us to watch all those names.
Right?
Yep. Top 5. Red 2 made $18 million in its opening weekend. This is a Bruce Willis, John Malkovich. This is a high-name film. Big-name stars and everything. $18 million. Ryan underperforming from what they thought, or is this hitting where they said that they thought it was going to be, or what?
I believe it's somewhere in the ballpark of where they were estimating this film of how much money it was going to make, but I think people are tired of action movies. They want something different, like The Conjuring.
Yeah. Hey, foreshadowing. Grown Ups 2 made another $19.8 million. This thing's just tearing it up. 79.4 there. All right, Turbo. Turbo. $21.3 million over the weekend, considering it was released on Wednesday. Made $31 million overall. Let's put it this way. It debuted behind the incumbent animated film of Despicable Me 2, which made $24.9 million. I think that says something. By the way, $276 million now for Despicable Me, so that looks to be a shoe-in for $300 million there. Yeah, I wanted to like it.
No, I didn't.
DreamWorks is not delivering it for me. I'm hoping that Dragon, How to Train Your Dragon
that
2
looks
could be good.
Visually, it looks great.
Well, and the first one was amazing. Like we talked, I hope you've seen it. If you haven't, probably seen it.
I actually look for it on our DVR. Apparently, my wife has erased it, so now I'm going to have to go get it.
Oh, it's so great. They had a terrible Christmas season with the Guardians, the Rise of the Guardians film. Tanked and really hurt DreamWorks.
It's a really cool idea, though.
It was a great idea, but it was too many characters. No one related with it.
Actually.
It was actually was a good movie, but too many characters, not enough to relate with. The Croods, kind of weak. Pretty interesting design and stuff.
Still made $200 million.
It made $200 million, but I mean, I don't know. DreamWorks, they're kind of losing me with Turbo. I don't like it. I feel like a lot of sequels are coming up. The Kung Fu Panda sequels, and even though they're
a couple of weeks from now is Planes, which is effectively cars up in the air.
It's Disney, and
it's Pixar.
Yeah, it's actually not Pixar. It's Disney.
No, it's just Disney.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
sorry.
I thought it was
be that guy.
No, I don't have any problem with that. And then debuting at number
Nerd.
1, $41.8 million. You called it. The Conjuring hits the top spot. But then again, I kind of thought about it after you said The Conjuring was going to take it over. And I said, you know what, I can see this because we've got just looking at this, we've got 3 different animated films. You've got 2 comedies, and you've got World War Z, R.I.P.D., Pacific Rim, Red 2. All of those are action films. Everything was just beating the daylights out of each other, and The Conjuring rolled to the top.
Think about the process people go through when they go to see a movie. Like, what have we seen recently? What's out? Oh, it's another action. We saw the action movie last week or the week before that. Let's see something different. And then that was The Conjuring. Honestly, it's weird. It happens once in a while. It doesn't always happen that way. It's hard to plan out, but it was the perfect storm for it.
Been out in somewhat limited release for the past couple of weeks, but you went to go see Ryan Gosling in
Only God Forgives.
All right, talk about it.
I didn't get to go out to see it since no theater in town is showing it. Had to get it on demand. But it's the newest one from Nicholas Winding Refn with Ryan Gosling. They brought us Drive, the last film. This is sort of the anti-Drive. I doubt anyone here
Park
would like it. This is a film, I loved it. I cannot recommend it because it's one of those movies that either you're into it or you're going to hate it.
This is pure art house flick.
This is pretty much pure film, yes. This is not a movie. This is not something you're going to go see on a lark. If you're not ready for this, you'll probably hate it. Because this is the director working through a lot of issues. The effects of violence, family.
Did you see A Place Beyond the Pines with Ryan Gosling?
I have not seen that yet.
It's interesting. He's taking all these very odd kind of acting role choices.
He's trying to show that he can be a dramatic actor.
I know
He's
you
trying to
won't
get
like
an
it,
Oscar.
Josh, because there are long stretches where no one says anything.
Well,
And
that's
it's
just stupid. It's called entertainment, Jeff. If I'm not entertained, I don't want to watch it.
So, in other words, this might have been a better. You got to be in the right mood for it. Otherwise, you kind of walk out of there thinking the director needed couch time more than making a film time.
Right. If you thought something like, say, Tree of Life was a slog, or you know, if you don't, if you're not into the art films at all, don't bother. If you want to see something, I mean, it's a beautiful film. They shot it, you know, in Thailand. It is all neon colors, but at the same time, when violence hits, it is brutal. So
visual. Okay.
I liked it. At the same time, I can't recommend it. You can check it out if you want to. So,
ultimate Jeff rating.
I'd give it a 7.5.
Okay.
It's Jeff's favorite movie since Notebook with Ryan Gosling. So
nice.
Coming out in full release this week, a movie called The To-Do List that stars Aubrey Plaza, Bill Hader, about a valedictorian who wants to shed her goody two-shoes image before college, enlist a group of friends and others to help her complete her compiled list over a summer, which sounds okay. And then I left this specific part out because I wanted to ask you guys this.
Sure.
Is there anything about this that tells you that this should be set in a specific time period in the past? Or does this sound like this could be something for a 2013 graduate of high school?
I think it could be set for modern time.
Okay. Anybody seeing this should have been set?
Nope.
I have no reason that it couldn't.
Okay. For whatever reason, the filmmakers decided they needed to set this in 1993.
Yep.
Oh, that was a banner year.
Absolutely no idea why they felt like they needed to set this in 1993, but they did.
Maybe just to be different.
What's on the list?
Yeah, what is the list?
I mean, maybe she wants to go see Nirvana.
Well, let me put it to you this way. When I read the restrictions on this, and it is an R-rated film, not a family film, ladies and gentlemen, because there's, let's just say, post-high school activity.
Innuendos.
And
Bingo.
Andy Samberg's in it.
Yeah. So I'm just saying.
I bet they just wanted a reason to use old music or something.
Yeah, we looked up the
we
looked
did
up the
look
soundtrack.
up the soundtrack.
Create a certain feel for it.
Out of the entire soundtrack, and we actually chose this film to take our song that we're going to come back from break with. That was the only song that Jacob and I felt comfortable enough to be able to use from the entire soundtrack. Just saying. And the Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, Will Yoon Lee, and this is as we join the part-time, apparently, X-Man who is in Japan with an offer that he might find too hard to turn down, but it could turn out to be lethal. We will start off with you, sir, David.
I thought it was a terrible, terrible movie.
Don't hold back, man.
The first third of the movie was a fine Wolverine movie, and it went downhill from there. We had too many villains, and they didn't give us the all-important why should we care factor. Like, I didn't care about any of these characters, except for Wolverine.
Okay.
Hugh Jackman was the only part of the whole movie that made any sense to me as, you know, as far as caring about it.
In the end, it rates a...
Oh, I would give it a 4.5 out of 10, just for... And it only gets that high because of the action.
All right. Jacob, your thoughts?
Okay, I'm going to take my nerdy comic book self out of this and try to review this as just the movie itself. I think the beginning and the middle are okay. I like the character development. I think the writing, though, is pretty bad. The ending is terrible. It just fizzles and fails to me. The character development of Wolverine and a couple of other characters are really good, but then there are some characters that you get to the end of it and you have no idea why they've put them in the movie.
Because they were plot points.
Right. I mean, yeah, and it's like...
Should have been.
Right, and you're left with this, what did they have to do with the story at all? And so I'm going to be a little higher on it, because, I mean, like I say, I think the beginning, like I say, it started out really strong. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. But and like I say, if you're a comic book nerd and you know the story, which part of this is just the fact that, you know, the previous movies have really got the X-Men series out of order. thing you expect things to happen and that don't happen, and it bugged the crap out of me. But
So 6 out of 10, 4.5, 4.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm gonna split pretty much right down the middle. I'm giving this thing a 5 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah. It. Again, beginning great, set everything up very, very well. And Hugh Jackman, let's face it, I said this last week. I do mean it. There is nobody else that should play this role. He has it nailed. He's got the emotions down. He plays Wolverine well throughout the entire film. The problem is that to me, as you got into the middle of the film, for me, it just kind of slowed way down and needed something to kind of pick it back up. And unfortunately, when one of the major points happens near the beginning, the first third of the film, I went, I can see what's coming right here. And sure enough, that's where we ended. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, that was just highly predictable.
Do they kind of leave it off with like a sequel kind of coming, or?
Well, what they've done is they've done a great job, and again, Marvel is fantastic at this because they've done it with so many of the films, most notably the Avengers films being separately, and then going into the Avengers film itself from last year. They get into the credits, and then you have that scene that breaks up the credits, or that is in this case it's in the middle of the credits, but in one case, the Avengers itself, it was at the end of the credits, where it does set up you going into X-Men Days of Future Past.
And that scene is worth the price of admission.
I'm going to tell you right now, the best part of the Wolverine was the extra scene in the credits.
Quite easily the best part.
That was the best part of the entire film. That's what gave it, for me, the 5. Otherwise, it would have been a 4.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that Wolverine will join the Avengers?
No.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, we have talked about that. That kind of came up a little bit last week because it has a lot to do with the fact that you're looking at 3 different studios, because not only is it that, they're talking about Spider-Man possibly wanting to be a part of this as well. Hugh Jackman wants it to happen. I haven't heard anything about Andrew Garfield or anything like that, but they'd have to get permission, and you'd have to figure out how to deal with the rights on it. But quite frankly, if I'm 20th Century Fox, I'm about to take a bath on the Wolverine. I'm looking for a way to recoup some money off of the character. So I'm going to figure out a way to get 25, 30% of the gate, and I'm going to let you have Wolverine for the next Avengers film.
Do you think this film's not going to perform well?
I think it's going to tank.
I don't think it's going to tank. I think that at least this weekend, it's going to rule the box office.
But you'll see a huge slide.
Yeah, it might make top 5 this week, and then it is going to drop like a rock.
I think it's going to be like a Superman. Like, it wasn't as good as we thought, but the commercials were good, and it's Wolverine. So I think we're talking 50 million. 40 to 50 million this weekend.
Man of Steel killed it in content with the,
compared to this.
Oh my God,
Man of Steel was a light years better film. Light years.
I think you're right. I think it will fade off, but I do think that this weekend it's going to rule.
I think this weekend it'll do well, but I think it's going to. I think you'll see a bigger than 50% drop off in its week number 2, and it is going to continue to fall like a rock. Past that, I'm sorry. That's just the way that I feel about it. Before we sorry to ruin it. Maybe you've got a different opinion. I look forward to hearing yours next week, Ryan. Let me talk to Murph, who's on a cell talking about Wolverine. Hey, Murph.
Hey guys, how you doing tonight?
Good. What's on your mind?
Good to talk to you, Steve. They did a Japanese animated movie thing with Wolverine that I think is following the same plot line as this movie. He goes to some island run by the Yakuza. And some girl, daughter of some mentor of his or something, he ends up taking on some guy supposed to be like the Silver Samurai. I'm just curious if you guys know about that movie and if it parallels.
It was a series that they did. G4 aired it here in America, and it does parallel somewhat to this movie, but there's a good bit of difference there too.
Yeah, it's all coming off of the original Wolverine storyline that Chris Claremont and Frank Miller did. That was pretty much critically acclaimed, and they've never gotten it right in any other medium.
Yeah, especially not in this one.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, that help you?
Well, yeah, and I noticed on some of the trailers that I guess Viper's introduced, of course, Silver Samurai, and a few other people. But I didn't like it in the original X-Men series when they made Lady Deathstrike. Well, it wasn't even his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Was it Yuriko, whose father was supposed to be the Silver Samurai, and it just all got all twisted up. So
and they play with it more in the film. Murph, I appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much. We got to take a break. We're late. Real quick, though, out in limited release, Apartment 1303 3D. It stars Misha Barton. I didn't realize she was still acting. Rebecca De Mornay and John Deal. You got Blue Jasmine starring Kate Blanchett and Alec Baldwin, and a foreign film called Drug War.
Blue Jasmine's a new Woody Allen film, by the way.
Oh, okay. Next week, looking at Two Guns featuring Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg. You've got Smurfs 2, the animated live-action mashup. Thriller called The Artist and the Model, set in 1942 or 1943, if I remember correctly. And another foreign film called The Canyons, which, by the way, stars Lindsay Lohan. Foreign film and Lindsay Lohan? Not a good combination. And the English comedy, Cockneys and Zombies.
Oh, I'm excited.
I have to admit, I'm actually a little
That
intrigued.
sounds interesting.
I doubt seriously it'll come to Birmingham, but I will highly anticipate this coming out on a free preview weekend at some point in time because it sounds somewhat Shaun of the Dead-ish.
Might show up at the Edge.
There you go. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about some other movie news, including a possible crossover. We'll talk about that more in a minute.
For up-to-date movie and TV, you find us on Twitter at 101 Roundtable.
Stop. Have a time.
This was the one song off the entire soundtrack of the to-do list that we actually could play on the air.
I didn't even hear it.
It's Hammer time.
I need to go break out my parachute pants.
Yep, Can't Touch This by MC Hammer. We couldn't find anything off the Wolverine soundtrack that was recognizable that we didn't have to go digging 8 miles for, so we went with this.
You could have just came in with you should just come in with Hugh Jackman screaming to the heavens.
Yeah, probably should have. Probably would have been better. Hey, welcome back in. Real quick, we are on Twitter at
101 Roundtable.
Talk to me.
Sarah Watson just followed us. Like to thank her for following us, and we got some info from Mark Stevens, who watched Sharknado. Said it was.
Hold off. We'll give a review here in just a few minutes.
I'll let you know what Mark Stevens says when he has a review of his own.
Exactly. All right, Jacob, let's go here. Last time we saw the character of Apollo Creed, he was doing a face plant on the mat in Las Vegas because he'd been not only knocked out but killed by Uber robot Ivan Drago in what was supposed to be an exhibition in Rocky IV. Well, apparently we're getting another boxing film. It's not Rocky VII, though. What's this?
Well, MGM is setting Ryan Coogler to direct Creed. It's the studio's in early talks with Michael B. Jordan to play basically Apollo Creed's grandson. You may know Michael B. Jordan from shows like Friday Night Lights, and it's going to be kind of a continuation of the Rocky saga. Sylvester Stallone is back playing Rocky Balboa again as a retired fighter turned trainer to train Apollo Creed's grandson to be a boxer.
Is he going to fight him?
I don't know.
I feel like they kind of already did this in Rocky V.
Rocky V does not exist.
Rocky V exists.
Rocky V does not exist.
Are you talking about
well,
Balboa?
Rocky Balboa does. It was a perfect ending to the franchise,
Rocky
and
Balboa
it should be that.
Good. Rocky V does not exist.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay. We struck a chord here.
Yeah, really. I'm sorry. Rocky V was just flipping horrible.
So was Rocky IV and Rocky III.
Rocky IV was perfect United States propaganda cheesy goodness.
It wasn't.
It was pure cheese. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you this was Oscar-worthy by any stretch of the imagination. But for the American propaganda from the mid-1980s, that was perfect.
The moment they jumped the shark is Apollo Creed and Rocky III, like jumping around and high-fiving in the water at the beach.
Bro hugging.
I remember that.
It's time for it to be over.
Yeah, Red Dawn, Rocky IV, like
Yeah.
the perfect propaganda double feature.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. You
I
got
love
it.
the Red
If
Dawn.
you're looking for Cold War propaganda films, Red Dawn and Rocky IV, that'll do it for you.
My favorite Charlie Sheen film.
Ryan, what do you know about this movie? Doesn't sound all that Christmassy, but it's slated for release on Christmas Day. Keanu Reeves fantasy adventure film. He's a samurai.
Yes, and this one is the graphic novel of the same name. It's going to be called 47 Ronin. When a group of warriors lose their master tragically, with his death, they're trying to figure out what to do next. They figure out that they know who killed him. It's a supernatural creature type being, whatever the heck it is. So these 47 Ronin recruit Kai, who is played by Keanu Reeves, a former warrior of theirs, to become the 47th Ronin, and they go out and get revenge.
He knows, like, kung fu.
Whoa.
Are you looking forward to this?
I saw the trailer. It looks okay, but to me, it's like The Matrix Part 4.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. My next door neighbor is so amped up for this, it's ridiculous.
Really?
Oh gosh, he cannot wait.
If
I
they
saw
had
him
just-
posted on Facebook just yesterday when we saw the preview, and he's like, "Yes!" I'm like, Really?
I literally cannot remember the last time I was excited about anything starring Keanu Reeves.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
I will say this: it's really got to live up and prove itself, because as I was sitting in the theater and the trailer came up for 47 Ronin, as soon as his face showed up on the screen, there was a wave of laughter in the theater.
Nice.
And my girlfriend looked at me and said, "That can't be a good sign for an actor."
Just saying. All right, David, give us the news here, and then we're going to go around the table on this. We're going to get the inevitable Man of Steel 2. We knew this was coming. But we're going to get a bit of a surprise, kind of a mix of superheroes. David, what did you find out?
It looks like they're going to try to adapt, at least to some degree, or use it as inspiration, The Dark Knight Returns. And that means that we're going to have Batman and Superman in the same movie.
Too soon.
Too soon?
Way
too
soon.
soon?
Unless they get Christian Bale.
No.
That ain't happening.
Okay, then it's too soon. Everybody,
No.
it's too soon.
When's this film supposed to hit?
2015.
2015. Okay, so they want the Batman Superman thing. So they're not trying for Justice League to go up against the Avengers.
Yeah, they're talking about 2017 for the Justice League.
Okay. All
That's
right,
too
Ryan, though,
soon.
you're looking forward to this.
Yeah, I mean, I think I speak for the millions and millions of moviegoers when I say this, with one punch, DC knocked out Marvel as far as announcements go at Comic-Con. I'll tell you that first of all, Jack.
Well, on the
Second of
announcement
all,
side, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, big time, bro. Do I think they're rushing this? Yes, I do. I really, really do. I think it's way too soon. I think Man of Steel 2 should focus on Superman and his next enemy that he's going to go up against. But you know what? WB and DC mean business when they made this announcement. They mean serious business. They want to go up against Marvel, give them everything they got, Jack. Well, I'll tell you what. If they're going to bring Dark Knight into this, he should only be in, and my first impression of this is he only should be in the film for like 5% of the time, but since they're trying to do a Superman-Batman crossover, if they're going to split it 50-50, they got to figure out a way to introduce him the right way. They got to make it look real. They got to make it look believable, and I'll give you two candidates who could play Batman right here, right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Armie Hammer or Anson Mount from Hell on Wheels. Those two guys I can easily see playing the new Dark Knight.
I don't think they're going to get Armie Hammer.
I don't think Armie Hammer will do it.
No, they're going for an unknown, they were saying.
Are they?
Maybe they can get the guy from John Carter.
Oh.
Though I would love to see Michael Fassbender play Batman.
Fassbender as Batman could be interesting. What's your thoughts, Jacob?
I mean, I hope it's good. And I mean, I like the idea. I like this idea like two Man of Steel movies from now. Like I think you have too underdeveloped of a character in this series. When you think of Superman, I want them to do more Superman movies and then introduce Batman.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, I think there are two characters who define Superman in a very specific way, and that's Lex Luthor and Batman.
That's true.
Yeah. Jeff, you had pretty much a 2-word response to this.
I think this is terrible.
It's terrible.
I really do. I mean, it's if they would have maybe brought Batman in like the last few minutes after Superman had his own movie, but to be like, hey, we really believe in Superman a lot, so we're going to combine it with Batman. I just think that
seems like an artificial prop.
It is.
Is Nolan producing this one?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, I
So
think
he
he
is.
is. I think he is still running producer. Is Zack
Snyder
still going to be directing?
Most unfortunate is
Zack Snyder's coming back.
So we got the same director-producer team,
and
here.
unfortunately the same writer.
And I imagine Nolan is.
brother.
I imagine Nolan is going to somehow speak into the fact that you're going to have to somehow introduce this new Batman character with some sort of ease or reinvention, because you just can't have all of a sudden. Ta-da!
Oh, yeah.
Like,
the Wayne Enterprises satellite wasn't enough ease for you?
no, the thing is, the thing is, like, audiences have grown to love this franchise, the Batman franchise, as its own thing, and now it's tailgating on to.
But we all want to see a
Superman.
Justice League. We all want to see these characters come
I'd
together.
like to see a Justice League, but then again, I want them to set it up. They need to take some time and set this thing up right. Marvel did it the right way.
Yeah, but it's like if
They did it
Marvel
the right way, yeah.
did another movie and it's with another Iron Man, all of a sudden that's the comparison to me. It's like,
which eventually they're going to have to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know as Robert Downey Jr. is going to play Tony Stark for the rest of his career. Matter of fact,
I wish he would.
Let's go into this and talk about it. Speaking of Marvel and the Avengers, interesting stuff out of the recent San Diego Comic-Con. Ryan, sneak peek of Thor 2 introduced by a very special guest.
Yes, sir. Tom Hiddleston, dressed up in full costume and character as Loki, came out onto the stage, took the world by storm for about 4 or so minutes, and introduced people to footage from the upcoming film known as Thor 2. And I got to tell you something, Jack. That's highlight number 2 for me when it comes to Comic-Con. Batman and Superman is top dog, but second is Loki appearing at Comic-Con.
All right, and then also you got to look at the Veronica Mars film. What caught your interest, if anything?
oh my
Well, they put out a featurette/trailer for this upcoming film. They're hoping to release it by the year 2014, and they're brought back Kristen Bell as the title character along with all the other members of the original cast of the hit television series. And what happens is Jason Daring stars in the film, and his pop star girlfriend gets murdered. So he brings in Veronica Mars to help him solve the murder. So there you go.
Okay, you're actually looking forward to this, Josh.
I am very looking forward to it because this is an experiment in film. I mean, all the money of this film was raised on Kickstarter by fans.
True.
$5 million worth of. I mean, that's awesome.
And they do have Kristen Bell.
Yeah, and I never was a Veronica Mars fan of the show and never watched it, but I'm actually a fan of this movie because I thought it was neat that the fans stood up and said we want to see a feature film.
And I've never seen it either, but I totally agree. This is almost unprecedented.
It's unprecedented.
It's really pushing. I mean, you rarely get a canceled TV show become a movie.
Yeah,
it's been like Star Trek and Firefly was the only one.
Super cool.
Okay. Moving on, let's go back to Thor, from Thor by himself to his team, the Avengers. We know that they're going to have their second film coming out in 2015. Ryan, we know a subtitle?
Yes, sir. They should have called it The Avengers 2 and make it simple for everybody in this great nation of ours.
Can't do that.
By calling it Avengers Age of Ultron, which I never even heard of before.
You know Ultron, Jacob.
Okay, Ultron is a creation of Hank Pym, otherwise known as Ant-Man.
Preach it.
He was created to be a artificial intelligence, ends up going crazy, tries to destroy the world. Pretty much that sums it up in a nutshell.
Is that Vin Diesel's character?
I doubt it.
Vin Diesel is in the new Avengers?
He's been talking about being in it. He's been talking about it.
They haven't even introduced Pym, and they're not going to before this was
right. Yeah, Ant-Man movie is later.
Now wait a minute, Ant-Man has got a film coming out. When is it coming out?
Phase 3, baby.
2015.
2015. So it's coming out the same year as Avengers 2.
But it's after. It comes out.
But it comes out after Avengers 2.
I'm not a comic nerd. Who is Ant-Man?
Ant-Man is
what's his power?
Basically, he can shrink or
an ant.
Increase his size.
Oh god, that sounds like the dumbest idea ever.
He was Giant Man.
Tell that to the Atom.
He was an original Avenger. He was Giant Man. But then
well, he was Ant-Man to start with. Then he became Giant Man.
Does he look like an ant? How did he get the name? Because he goes small.
Yeah, he can go. He
was
can
also
go
like
small or big.
Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, he's got a whole bunch of different names.
Josh, do us all a favor. Don't overthink it. Ant-Man pretty much explains itself.
Right.
What the
idiot?
$20 says this is a result from Iron Man 3 with all the sort of self-sufficient Iron Man armors. That Ultron is going to be a sort of a growth from that.
That's actually could be possible.
Okay, I'm going to go back about a decade here when Ashton Kutcher was best known for playing a stone dim bulb in the 70s show. In other words, really not much of a stretch from real life. Anyway, he appeared in a film entitled The Butterfly Effect at about that time. It was something of a success at the box office, made about $100 million, so they're going to try it again, Ryan?
Yeah, another dumb idea from Hollywood. It's going to be a reboot from New Line, and the screenwriter from the original film itself, Eric Bress, is scheduled to be writing the script for this attempted reboot.
Okay, I loved The Butterfly Effect.
I did too.
Okay, The Butterfly Effect is one of my favorite films. But I think it's way too soon to redo it.
That's okay. That's okay, guys.
I just think there's no reason to redo it.
Ryan, what are you saying?
I think it's a terrible idea.
Yeah, I don't know if this is really necessary.
No.
Again,
I don't
even if you're going to remake a film, I think 10 years is too fast.
I think so.
Way too fast. All right, real
Spider-Man.
quick. Yeah, no kidding.
Superman Returns.
Blu-ray next Tuesday. You can get your second attempt at making G.I. Joe relevant on the big screen. G.I. Joe Retaliation comes out.
Don't do it.
It didn't come out already?
Something called Teen Beach Movie comes out. The animated Justice League, The Flashpoint Paradox,
Wanna see it.
For TV series collectors, Season 4, the Blu-ray version of Star Trek The Next Generation. As we make the switch over here real quick, I'm going to go to Chris. Because, Chris on a cell, you've been waiting patiently. You want to talk about two things. First of all, let's talk about Rocky. What's your opinions on Rocky, Chris?
Man, two things. Good grief. Y'all talked about so much. It's like, I wish I could be off to be there with you guys.
Well, we might work out a visit one of these days. Okay, first of all, your thoughts on Rocky?
Well, I was just saying that you had a conversation earlier, and one of your members up there, I can't remember which one, but you were trying to correct them. There are certain members of the population that labor under this delusion that there was a movie between Rocky IV and Rocky Balboa. But
yes, but I choose to thoroughly ignore it.
I don't know where they're getting this idea because such a thing did not happen.
Tommy the Machine Gun.
It's in my box set. What do you want from me?
Destroy it. It doesn't really exist.
But then the box set would be
burn it with fire.
Act like it's there and just get rid of the disc. Keep the box and get rid of the disc.
Okay.
Punch it in the face.
You must be like The Beautiful Mind or something from Russell Crowe.
Yes, you only think that it's in your box set. It's
Okay.
not really there. Anyway, okay, from there to our infamous Land shark.
Land shark. Sharknado first, because y'all were talking about Pacific Rim.
Oh, okay.
And I just have two things to tell you guys about Pacific Rim. One, don't touch me, and two, don't you ever touch me.
Best line ever.
Nice. Very nice. Okay, Sharknado, your thoughts. You're going to be our first person to review it.
Okay, well, reviewing it as a real movie.
Can you? Can you?
I can give it a 1 because it has a beginning and it has an end.
It has all the makings of a real movie.
Didn't have an end for me. I couldn't watch it.
It got pictures?
It's a real movie in that exists in time and space, I suppose.
Okay, but otherwise, it really has no redeeming value whatsoever.
Well, now, if you do like me and my buddy did and get together and MST3K it, I'll give our version a 7.5.
Nice.
You didn't happen to record that, did you?
No, afraid not. One thing is there was a scene where the girl character was explaining why she hates sharks, and as I was building it up, I was doing the Quint lines from when he was talking about the Indianapolis. Yeah, and so 1,500 men go into the water, and 300 men come out, and the sharks get the rest 1945. And I'm joking, and then she says, okay, so me and my grandparents and 6 people go in the water, and only one little girl survives, and I look over at my buddy, I'm like, I was joking, but they went there.
Nice, Chris. I appreciate it. That's good stuff. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it, man.
Have a good evening.
Thanks, you too. When we come back, Ryan?
Yes, sir.
You have a review of Sharknado.
Yes, I do.
All right. Hold on to it. We'll find out next. This will make sense to you in a minute, so just bear with me.
I love it.
I understand this is a movie theme.
This is awesome. I love it.
I understand it's a movie theme, but we're getting into television. Trust me, it'll all make sense in just a second. First things first, review of Sharknado. We've heard Chris's 1 out of 4. Or, if you do it MSTK 3000 style, 7.5 out of 10. Ryan, your thoughts?
Gee whiz. All right. First of all, Sharknado, I'd probably give it a negative 500. It's 90 minutes of my life that I will never get back. And number 3, the one moment that someone enjoyed during the course of the film was towards the end of the film. The girl that Chris was talking about a moment ago gets falls into the shark's mouth, but then Ion Searing has the brilliant idea, while the tornado is spinning around near him, he takes a chainsaw to this shark that comes right at him. And unfortunately, you think he gets eaten by the shark, but what happened was, he takes the chainsaw, cuts himself out of the shark, and guess who's with him? The girl who fell into that shark's
How
mouth.
did he not hit her with the chainsaw?
Very careful.
Movie magic.
Yeah, don't ask.
Chainsaw. So yeah, this is one of, if not
Don't
the
ask.
absolute worst TV, if not movie of all time I've ever seen in my life.
All right, so Ryan does not recommend it, even for its campy goodness. On Twitter, at 101 Roundtable, somebody checked in, Jacob?
Yeah, somebody did. First of all, I want to thank David Posey and Charlie Music for following us. Thanks for following us. Mark Stevens checked in, said he watched it, said it was so epically awful he couldn't help but watch it. He said it was like a bad train wreck. But
and you actually found out that there's more to Sharknado.
Well, for those of you who might have missed Sci-Fi's blockbuster B movie Sharknado, I've got great news for you. Sharknado is coming to the big screen in both Huntsville and the Birmingham area. The movie is being shown in 200 theaters, including the Hollywood 18 in Huntsville and the Trussville 16. Both showings are on August 2nd at 12:05 a.m.
The old Rocky
Late
Horror
night.
Picture Show midnight 05 start.
But yeah,
This
if
is
you
when,
haven't seen it,
Hollywood executives are sitting back just like, we've tried everything.
Yeah.
But Sharknado is what makes
Sharknado.
it.
Turbo didn't work, but
We spent $250 million on the Lone Ranger.
Must have spent hundreds on special effects on Sharknado.
I can't wait. I just saw the trailer and it looks great.
All right, let's go to other real TV. Veteran of the NBC sitcom The Office, Ryan, as we get back into this season, Parenthood, he's going to be getting pretty serious here. How do you who's moving from comedy to drama in this?
Yes, sir. It's going to be David Denman is going to be a recurring character as Ed, an unemployed stay-at-home dad who bonds with Julia, played by Erica Christensen, on Parenthood this season, which is going to premiere on Thursday night, September the 26th at 10/9 Central on NBC.
Regular role or just kind of throughout the course of the season shows up every once in a while?
Yeah, it's a recurring role, yeah.
Remind me what character he played on The Office?
Well, I never watched The Office, so I wouldn't know.
I got to look that up.
All right, while he's looking that up. To CBS, the cop show Unforgettable, forgetting one New York City borough and moving to another one. What's the deal?
Yes, sir. Unforgettable is coming back for Season 2, starring the very beautiful Poppy Montgomery, along with Dylan Walsh, from the hit film known as Congo, and he was on that television series, Nip Tuck, I believe it was. Anyway, they're going to be moving from Syracuse to Manhattan, New York, and they're going to be a part of the major case squad over in New York City. So that ought to be interesting to see. The season premiere is going to be this Sunday night at 9/8 Central on CBS.
All right. CBS show Person of Interest getting a casting edition, too?
Yes, sir. If you're familiar with the sci-fi veteran known as the very beautiful Amy Acker, but she plays crazy characters. She plays the crazy, sick freak of a character known as Root, and she is going to be a series regular for Person of Interest on Season 3, which is going to be premiering towards the end of September on Tuesday nights at 10/9 Central on CBS.
Something Jeff will now be checking out.
Probably Amy Acker, yes, from Angel. Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. The reason why we came back with a movie theme, specifically the Axel F theme by Harold Faltermeyer, which came out of course, Beverly Hills Cop, is because CBS, talking about cop shows, they were thinking about picking up a series version of the 80s movie franchise, Beverly Hills Cop, but there's been a change in plans, Ryan?
Yes, unfortunately, the TV project will not be going through. It is not to be ordered to series. However, they are going to take the pilot and maybe turn it into a feature film.
So another round for Axel Foley on the big screen.
Potentially, yes.
Which would probably be the one thing that Eddie Murphy might actually become a success in the movie theater again with, because the last hit he had was Dreamgirls, which wasn't really his necessarily.
Wait, was he even in the pilot of the TV show?
He was supposed to be in the pilot and kind of a recurring character because it was supposed to be about what, his son or his nephew or something?
Son, yeah.
His son. Okay.
Importantly, is there any word on whether Judge Reinhold will be in it?
No word yet.
No word yet. I think they just finally figured out, well, we're going to move from TV show back into feature film, so they'll figure all that out later.
Sorry, just thought of the Arrested Development Judge Reinhold thing. That was
I was thinking of the Clerks animated series Judge Reinhold thing.
Anyways.
Oh, yeah, that'd do it too.
He was a judge too.
A couple of ABC stuff here. Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, and they're going to be getting a character first introduced to us in the 1992 animated film Aladdin.
Yes, sir. The iconic Disney villain known as Jafar is going to be played by Lost alum himself, Saeed. Naveen Andrews is going to be a recurring character on the Once Upon a Time spinoff, which I believe premieres on Thursday night, October the 5th, and I believe it's 8/7 Central on ABC for Once Upon a Time in Wonderland.
All right. Well, speaking about Once Upon a Time, they've got new casting news too, right?
Yes, sir. If you watched the hit television series that's still going on to this day, known as Power Rangers, with this particular season, she's from Power Rangers RPM. Her name is Rose McIver, and she's going to play the iconic role of Tinkerbell on Once Upon a Time.
Where's Peter Pan?
Oh, he's in there.
Oh, okay. Just double checking. Then the show that I'm actually looking forward to, and Jacob and I, we were sitting in the theater waiting for the lights to dim and start to watch the previews. They actually did a deal on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the ABC show coming out in the fall. A couple of weeks ago, we found out Agent Coulson's going to be back. What about Agent Maria Hill? Now, this was in the movie The Avengers. It's played by Colby Smulders, easy for me to say. She, of course, appears in the CBS sitcom How I Met Your Mother. Are they going to let her appear in this?
Actually, they are. She's going to make an appearance in the series premiere, and I guess once How I Met Your Mother wraps up, she may be becoming a recurring character for Agent Maria Hill on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I cannot wait for that one.
When's the debut?
Tuesday night, September the 24th, 8/7 Central. Mark your calendars and be there, Jack.
I was about to say, he's got his calendar marked, you can tell.
Any excuse for Colby Smulders to be on TV is good for me.
Why do you think I watch How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah, no kidding.
CW, their hit Arrow, set to come back in just a couple of months. Hero getting some company, Ryan?
Apparently so. More characters from DC Comics lore are going to appear. Michael J. White is going to take on the role of Ben Turner / Bronze Tiger, who's going to be working with China White, played by the very beautiful Kelly Hugh. And also Kevin Alejandro is going to guest star as a man by the name of Sebastian Blood on Arrow, and that's going to premiere on, I believe it's, Wednesday, October the 5th, I believe, 8/7 Central. Arrow is getting bigger and better by the minute.
Jeff, you're a fan?
Oh, Michael J. White, Black Dynamite, love him. And you left off Black Canary. She's going to be in there.
She's going to be in it.
But no, they never said Black Canary, Jack.
Oh.
Yeah,
she's going to
be in it.
She got to be.
No, she can't be because it's too soon for a character to morph into that hero.
It's not Dinah. It's the original Black Canary.
I'm looking forward.
The original Black Canary. I thought Dinah Lance was Canary.
Yep.
Well, who is then?
I'm looking forward to
her mother.
Blood.
Who?
Her mother was the original Black Canary. She was with the Justice Society of America.
No, it's a totally different character.
All right, schooling later, phones now. Hi, Brad. How are you tonight?
Man, I'm great. How are you?
Doing well. What are you dealing with here? You've got an idea about a show that I have to admit I haven't heard about.
Well, it's on Cinemax, and it's like one of their regular series type things.
Okay.
It's called Banshee, Banshe. I've heard the name of a town, but it is a barn burner. It's been on about 5 or 6 episodes already, but if you got it on demand, I mean, it is well worth watching.
Huh. Okay.
It's about a quick deal. It's about a guy that comes out of prison and actually becomes a cop.
Okay.
But it's wild as all get out.
All right. Worth checking into on demand. We'll look for it. I appreciate it, Brad. Thank you so much.
It is well worth the watch.
Okay. Yeah. We'll certainly start looking for it. I appreciate the heads up.
Banshee.
All right, brother.
Thank you, Brad.
Have a good one.
Thanks. You too. I appreciate it. All right. I couldn't resist this. Chances are we're not going to get this like in first run. We'll have to look for it somewhere online. But Jacob, you found out about Middle Eastern flair for a female superhero. Come on, tell me about this.
Okay, so you're right. We're probably not going to get to see this in America, but I think this would be an amazing show. It's called The Burqa Avenger. It's a show about a mild-mannered teacher with secret martial arts skills who uses a flowing black burqa to hide her identity as she fights local thugs seeking to shut down the girls' school where she works. Scheduled to start running on GOTV in early August. According to the creator Aaron Haroon Rashid, one of Pakistan's biggest pop stars, I guess.
That's awesome.
This is good stuff. This is a TV show that will never appear in Iran.
Each one of their episodes is centered around a moral which sends out strong social messages to kids, but is cloaked in pure entertainment, laughter, action, and adventure.
And a burqa.
I
don't think you're ever going to be allowed to see actually what she looks like.
No.
I mean, are you allowed to unveil yourself in front of the TV?
No. This will be one of the few female superheroes that is actually quite covered up.
She's going to be like the Lone Ranger, never taking her mask off.
This is the anti-Wonder Woman who effectively goes around in a one-piece bathing suit all the time.
They actually had a similar character in X-Men a few years ago in the books.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Dust.
This will be fairly interesting. Coming up next week, Ryan, you've been looking ahead to some movies here in the future. You've got a year that you think is really going to be a blockbuster year, but we are out of time, so we're gonna talk about that next week. In the meantime, if we have any questions, how can we get a hold of you, Ryan?
Yes, sir. Just go to Facebook.com/TheRPM Show. If you want to talk about film or TV, we'd love to hear from you, especially about the huge announcement going around the Internet about Batman and Superman in the same film.
And you're going to check out the Wolverine this weekend?
On Sunday afternoon, yes, sir.
We look forward to hearing your review next week. Have a great weekend.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on the show. You guys take care. Don't work too hard.
We never do. Jeff, thank you very much. Josh, we'll be talking to you soon. Dave, appreciate it very much. Jacob, bringing the good stuff. Like it. Fastest hour in radio. That's next.
WIDE-FM Coleman, WDJC HD3 Birmingham. This is Superstation 101.